you guys being here. Obviously, to start, obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with Cam Wilson and his family. As guys, that was a tragic event and something you can't see or foresee. And so our prayers are just with him and, through these times. And obviously, we're doing everything we can as a staff to reach out to him and his brothers and sisters, just, to do everything we can to help them out during this time. With that, obviously, this it's been a different time period for us, but I'm sure we'll talk about that with questions. So we can just open it up and go from there.
All right, Taylor Lehman, why don't you start off with Coach Hart?
Coach, I know we're talking to Stevie, but I want to make sure that we ask this question too. But, with the way that Samson kind of ended last season, how do you go into the spring, especially this spring, and try to make sure, or I guess, how do you approach Samson's offseason this year when it seems like so much of his progression was closed doors last year before he had his game against Purdue and then later on as well?
Well, I think we always go into the offseason, no matter what the offseason is, trying to get better. They all have to get better. Stevie's got to get better. Samson needs to get better. Obviously, we have Tim Baldwin here who needs to get better. Rod Lloyd played a lot towards the end of the year last year. He needs to get better. So I don't think, from a competition standpoint, I think the guys know they need to get better. And, it's clear that whoever the best player is going to play. So with Stevie, with Samson, I think the one thing is that we got two guys that can really play, at a high level. And so that gives you some security, and that also, makes everyone else work harder to get on the field. So obviously, the main thing with Samson is, he's got to stay healthy, and that, that comes into the offseason. Last year he came in and he was hurt from high school, so that set him back a little bit, and he didn't get a spring, but he just needs to stay healthy, keep his body healthy. And with all these guys, if you can't play, if you can't be on the field, then, you don't bring any value from the standpoint of game days on Saturday. And so you just need to do the best to keep these guys healthy and get them through a whole Big Ten season.
At Weaver.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Well, how you doing, man?
I'm okay. Obviously, last year in the fall, you got saw a little bit of David Ellis at running back, not a ton, and then in spring he was there for the first 4 practices. What can he give you at that position if he's there for you guys this fall?
I think David's one of the best athletes on the team. I think if you ask anybody, they'll tell you that. And so, obviously, he's a starting kickoff returner. He played a lot of slot last year and in the backfield last year. So he's just a guy that, we're going to see what he can do. Played running back in high school, was recruited as a running back athlete. And so we're just going to, get him on the field wherever we need him. So he's a guy that's, like as I said, one of the better athletes on the team. He's a dangerous kickoff returner. He's a thick kid. He's 5'11", 210 pounds, 205 pounds, and he's got some speed, as you can see from Penn State game when he caught that, the quick screen to the boundary. It took it for about 70. So he's a kid that's he's an explosive play guy. So he's a guy we got to get the ball to and find a way to use him whatever way we can.
John Blau.
In terms of, I think Coach Allen said in a recent radio interview that he wanted to be able to run the football better. Obviously, a lot goes into that in terms of play calling. Also, in terms of, but in terms of the running back room, how do you take that challenge? How do you feel like you guys can improve the run game going forward?
I think it comes down to a lot of things. First and foremost, we have to do our job, in the backfield and tell these guys, if it's blocked for 0, you got to get 3. If it's blocked for 5, you got to get 8. And that just comes with yards after contact. So that's running downhill, running the correct paths, making the correct reads, and doing those things. But holistically, as an offense, that comes down to, play calling, comes down to blocking up front, where to do things that are necessary to move the sticks. Some teams are, each game plan is going to be different. Some teams are better at stopping the run, so we need to pass. If we look at Michigan State game last year, I think WAP had 10 to 14 catches. I'm not sure how many it was, but a lot of those were called runs, but they gave us the pass, their RPOs. And so, as you guys heard a lot about RPOs, so as a staff, we called a lot. We give what the defense dictates from that standpoint. So, if you're 1 yard to run, 1 yard to run, you're sitting on 3rd and 8, and that's not good offense, And so, really, what we need to do is just get ahead of the sticks. The big thing we need to do is get 3-4 yards of run, so we're sitting at 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, and that helps you run the ball more. And then the game dictates it. what's going on in the game, what's the score, because if the score starts getting, if it's, playing Ohio State when it gets 21-7 last year, and you're running down on the clock and, the time on the clock, you have to throw the ball to move the ball. And so the thing we need to do is just stay ahead of the sticks. Number one, we have to score points on offense. We have to control what we can control. And as long as we're scoring, we can stick with the game plan, which is to run the ball. We want to run the ball last year. We want to run the ball the year before that. Obviously that, that comes down to controlling the clock. And so, and obviously, we have some really good running backs. So obviously as a staff, we have to, come up with a great, game plan in the run game that gets us 3 to 4 yards and we can stay ahead of the sticks. But, when you say second and 10, it's hard to call another run play when you're trying to get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. So we just have to do those things as a staff, stay on schedule, number one, and score points. And you can run the ball a lot better, because I think we have the guys to do it. We have the offensive line to do it. We have the guys coming back that have played. Even Mackenzie Nora, he played a lot in the past. So we got a lot of experienced guys that, O-line is good enough. To me, running backs are good enough. It comes down to our staff. It comes down to us and putting in the correct game plan to get these guys where they need to be able to go and, utilize their talents.
Tom Brew.
You're on mute, Tom.
I apologize. I thought sorry about that. Hey, a lot was made earlier this year when Kalen left about with Nick being promoted and you an expanded role and such. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have been able to do as a staff with this stuff going on in regards to making whatever sort of changes or tweaks or whatever y'all want to try to do between what was the 2019 offense and what the 2020 offense might look like?
First off, I think Nick's doing a great job. He took the bull by the horns and ran with it. And he's going to be a great coordinator this year for us. He's a great leader. And I'm happy to support him and with him. And he's a guy that's really, really smart, always been smart, and really understands the game. And so I think any offseason you go back and look at, what did we do good? What did we do bad? What runs worked? What runs didn't work? How did they work? Why didn't they work? Was it the running back making the wrong read? Was it the O-lineman going to the wrong guys? Was the scheme incorrect? And when you look at those things, then, that's how you get better. You study teams that really, that ran the ball really well last year against good teams. Anybody can run the ball against teams that aren't that great. But, what do you do when you play Ohio State? When you play their defense, when you play Michigan defense, when you play Michigan State defense, when you play Penn State defense, who had success against them in the run game and how did they do it? And within our scheme, and so what do we need to do to complement those plays? And what are our guys best suited to do? It comes back down to personnel again. And, how do we put our guys in a position to have success? Is it outside zone? Is it inside zone? Is it power? What are we best at and how can we do it? And how can we match those plays up with the pass game? And those are things that we look at in the offseason. Those are studies we've been doing, currently and continue to do on a daily basis, which has been a really good time. We have a lot more time to sit down and study film and watch film because we're not out recruiting. So it really helps us as far as, what do we need to do to take the next step and be able to run the ball better. And so we're always trying to get better. We tell our players, you guys got to get better every day. If you don't get better, someone's going to take your job. It's the same thing as coaches, right? If we don't try to get better every day, then we're not going to be here long. Someone's going to come take our job. So we're trying to do what we can to put our guys in the best position possible. And that comes down to giving them the best schemes. And that comes down to film study and evaluating what we did in the past.
Kevin Brockway.
Hey, Coach, Stevie was a guy that, am I on or no?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. Stevie, I know, is a guy that made some strides a little bit last year, particularly catching the ball in the backfield. What are you looking for his continued growth and development this year?
I tell Stevie all the time he has the worst hands in the running back room. And so he needs to continue to get better. No, I'm just joking. No, I think that's one thing he really worked on this past season was catching the ball, because I was on him a lot as a freshman. And he's a guy that wants, he wants to be on the field every down. He wants to be a third down back. He wants to be the guy split out. And so that's something that he's taken and ran with and trying to get better at. And, you know, the big, you know, Stevie just has to, you know, I think everything can get better in this game. Pass protection, you know, which he grew as a freshman to a sophomore, just knowledge of football, which he's grown as. He's a smart kid. You know, he caught some, you know, some big passes last year for us. So he has that skill set that he's continuing to develop. But it's overall everything, you know, and the yak yards, making the safety miss, getting the big plays, which he continues to work on. And we try to emphasize in practice with the drills we do. But as I just go back to say this, I think that, you know, to get to where he wants to get to be the player he wants to, you know, be, everything needs to continue to develop. And hopefully he's doing that right now. We'll see when he gets back. But, you know, he's a kid I know that, you know, loves football and wants to really be, you know, a great player, you know, play in the NFL one day. So just continue to just work on the little things, you know, the reads, you know, the defense scheme, where should the ball go, who's blocking who, developing his knowledge of the football game. So he can, you know, he knows how the linemen are blocking it. Therefore, he knows who the unblocked defender is. And, you know, he can be ready to make that guy miss.
Olivia.
Hey, Coach. We've been watching Charlie Spiegel run around up here in Indianapolis for a while. I wanted to know if you've been able to have any conversations with him. No, you haven't got to see him much since all of this, but what you expect from him, a role he'll maybe play in you guys' offense.
I honestly don't know if I can talk about whoever you just mentioned in this, just because he's not legally signed with us. So he's still considered a prospective student athlete. But we do have a kid from Indianapolis that's going to be coming here, and obviously was a highly successful player in the state. And, you know, to see what he can do when he gets here. Obviously, we're happy to have him. We obviously, you know, we talk all the time, and because he's a great kid, he wants to come in here, and he's a kid that had offers at smaller, you know, FCS schools. He's a kid that, you know, wants to prove everybody wrong. He has, you know, the chip on his shoulder and just kind of ready to roll. So we'll see when that person gets here if they're going to be pretty good or not.
Mike Merritt.
Coach, you just talked a little bit about Stevie Scott and his hopes of playing in the NFL, trying to develop. How has maybe that been a little bit the obstacles that he's gone through during, you know, the development part of this part of the pandemic? Has that been affected at all in any way that you know of?
I mean, not that I know of. You know, I think Stevie wants to be a great player, and he's doing what he needs to do to be great. I think the one thing I've emphasized to all our kids is this is really if you want to play in the NFL, this is really an NFL schedule. You know, there's certain times of the year you're not going to be around the coaches. You know, we're not going to have you mandatory workouts at this time from this time. And as you grow and as you learn, you know, the guys that last and the guys that, you know, are great players are the guys that do it on their own, the guys that take care of their bodies, the guys that make the right decisions on and off the field, you know, with what they're eating, with what they're putting into their bodies. Those are guys that last in the league. So this is really just a trial for them to, and, you know, luckily, you know, our guys are, you know, we have some older kids, but, you know, if they want to play in the league, this is really what it's like. You know, you're on your own, you have to train on your own. You have to do those sorts of things. It's coaches telling you to be here at 8 a.m. from 8 to 10 to work out. You have to schedule that yourself. So my hope is that the guys come back and in shape and ready to go and not miss a beat. Now, obviously, it's not the same as having a, you know, strength coach working, you know, breathing down your throat every day. But those guys come back and are still where they were, where they left, and that's success, in my opinion. And that's kind of what, you know, with Coach Wellman, what we've tried to get across to them with their workouts and the things that they have to do to be ready when they come back here. Because not only, you know, is that going to help you during the season, you know, as far as, you know, not, you know, coming back on point so you can get better before the season starts, but it's also going to limit injuries. You know, if guys come back and haven't been doing anything, then they have a higher chance of getting injured. So those are all the things we're trying to preach to them to get them to really understand. And, you know, now it's power if you use it. If they're not using it, then, you know, they're going to have a hard time getting back, and they may get their spots taken.
Bozich.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah.
I have a question. You guys won 8 games last year, which was one of the better years for a while from IU, but obviously the goals are to continue to improve. what does the running game have to contribute to help Indiana get over the Michigans, the Penn States, the Michigan States, the Tennessees?
I think to win any games, especially in the Big Ten, you have to be able to run the ball. You can't drop back and, with the pass rushes we had, you can't drop back and throw the ball 50 times and expect to win those games. Number one, your quarterback's going to get banged up. The O-line can only protect, for so many plays. And we have to be realistic in asking them what they can do. But the run game kind of wears the defense down, and it helps you control the clock. And I know a lot of people aren't into the controlling the clock theory anymore. And really, at the end of the day, it becomes, efficient possessions. And having an efficient possession, it's moving the sticks. And to move the sticks, you have to run the ball, going back to what I touched before. So you have to be able to run the ball and stay ahead of the sticks. When teams can tee off, especially when, the Chase Youngs of the world, I mean, those guys are top 5 picks for a reason. And they're special players. So the more chances you give them to create negative plays, they're going to do that. And in the run game, there's a less chance of, creating, negative plays. So you get to stay ahead of the sticks. So I think the run game has everything to do with it. Turnovers has everything to do with it. To beat those teams, you have to play good games. And we've been close, but we haven't gotten over that edge yet as far as beating those big ones. And but we're young, so I think those guys are starting to believe that they can do it. And I think once one happens, then it's kind of just gonna create a it's gonna be great, because the guys are really gonna truly believe that they can do it. And I think that comes down to half of it. But we feel like we can run the ball on anybody. I know that's our guys' mindset, and we just have to do it on the field.
All right, Stefan, last one for Coach Hart.
Yeah, Coach, I know obviously the circumstances right now make everything a bit more difficult, but has it been a little bit easier for you guys in the running back room, seeing that you return a lot of production as opposed to maybe some other teams that might not?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good when you return your production, but we're young too, not Stevie anymore. You look at Samson, he really only played in 2 games last year, major reps. So, and then you have some guys, Tim Baldwin's never played a college snap. And I mean, those are really your 3 scholarship guys that you have. And so, we have, Rod Lloyd played a lot, but you have guys that are going to need to step up because, injuries happen. And so that is a concern from that standpoint. But we do have some production, some guys that understand the offense, that know the offense. They'll be able to teach those young guys, but I think some of the younger guys have to step up fast and, to really help this team out, because we're going to need them at some point.
Mike, appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Talk to y'all later. Appreciate it.
Stevie, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Sammy Jacobs, why don't you start with Stevie?
Good afternoon, Stevie. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good afternoon to you also.
Thanks. Stevie, freshman year, you burst onto the scene. Last year, defenses kind of geared up for you. What are your goals going into your junior season to improve upon those numbers? You had 1,000 all-purpose yards. What are your personal goals for next year, and what are your goals as a running backs room totally to improve upon the running game, moving from 12th in the Big Ten up to the middle or top of the pack?
Really, it's just going through practice and going through the motion. It's just getting repetition every day and just trying to get better, and just working on trying to protect the QB and, just run the ball mean and aggressive and just try to help the team make plays. So really, just focusing on ourselves and just building up that team chemistry that we need that will help us move forward.
Ken Bykoff.
Yeah, I know football is a game of rhythms. It's a game of routine, and obviously that's all been upset at this point. How challenging has it been for you to go ahead and deal with just having to come up with a new routine through all of this? And who have you leaned on to try to just kind of find your day-to-day that you're going to do that is so much different than how it would have been in previous years?
Are you saying like during this pandemic, or like?
Yeah,
Right?
during
So you're
during
like,
the pandemic, I mean, normally you would have gone through spring football and been doing your routine week after week, and now there's
right.
something different that you have to do. How much of a challenge is that?
It's definitely kind of a challenge, but like Coach Hart said, there's no, this is just really preparing us for the NFL. So really just me and my teammates been getting together, just working out, just building that team chemistry and just trying to get better. And also I just been, working with my father and just, having we've been bonding a lot lately. So, just me and him been working out and just talking over a lot of things and just, how that goes.
And how much contact do you have with your teammates through all of this? How has that been?
We stay in contact a lot. It's a lot of love on the team. So, we all call to check in on each other and see how we doing. Make sure, we stay on top of what we have to do, just to make sure we stay handling business.
Appreciate it.
Matt Cohn.
Hey, Stevie, just kind of following up on that a bit. What are some just more specifics of your daily routine now? Just like what specifically are you working on or trying to focus on at home with some resources limited, what you probably would have without being able to go to like the gym or something? It's like, what specifically are you doing?
Really, I've been doing a lot of core workouts, trying to build that inner strength up because, weights are good and all, but if you have that core strength, that's really powerful. That's just your inner strength. That's all muscle. That's all yourself. So really just doing core strength and just going to the field, doing field work, trying to get my footwork right and, just going over the little things and just trying to better myself.
Dylanson.
Stevie, first of all, happy birthday.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, when you get to your birthday next year, what are some things that you wanted to have accomplished on the football field by your next birthday that you want to say, I did that this year?
I definitely want to help the football team get back ranked again like we did last year. It was tough not playing in the bowl game this year, but definitely, trying to get back to another bowl game this year. And, possibly even a national championship, anything's possible. And I got faith that, me and my guys we could play with anybody in the nation. So really just getting back on and just keep winning and just keep striving for greatness. And just hopefully, I love seeing my teammates be successful. So, just seeing my teammates do good, that just helped me to push myself to, be a better me.
All right, Taylor Lehman, go ahead.
Stevie, from your perspective, what kind of growth have you seen from Samson from when he first got to campus to now?
I definitely see not that he's used to it, but he knows what's going on. It's like he got the game speed change from high school to college. And like really he just really matured on all levels. I would say as a person and on the field and just taking his weightlifting seriously and just knowing that, going into this year, this is a big year for him, me, the team also. So, he knows that he's going to play a big role this next year coming up. And I feel that, he's ready whenever his name is going to be called and he's just ready to make plays at any given moment. So, I'm glad that he's in the backfield with me. And I'm really looking forward to this season because I know that me and him together in the backfield, that's going to be, a mean duel.
Matt Weaver.
Hey, Stevie, how's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good, and you?
Okay. Ask Coach Hart about this, about David Ellis. I know he was mainly at slot last year, did a little bit of running back, was in running back this spring. Just your thoughts on what he can add for you guys at your position this fall.
Yeah, David's very versatile. I watched David when he was coming out of high school, so I've been watching him for a while. So, adding David to that back room, over to the running back room, he's just adding, more speed, hands, physical, and just things of all that nature that we need. He's definitely like one of those guys you can put in any position and he's gonna go out there and make a play. It doesn't matter if it's receiver, running back, kick return, punt return. He's just getting the ball and he's trying to make a play. So, adding him to the running back room, is just more diverse. Also, keeps the defense on their heels. Not knowing what he's in for, what he's doing. But really, just he's helping us be more diverse and just be more playmakers.
John Blau.
So we talked a lot coming into the season just about the depth in the running back room. Obviously talking about with you, Samson, David Ellis, Tim Baldwin. I mean, what is that depth like, do you feel, going into next season, and how much does that push each of you guys knowing the competition level in the room?
Competition is really like when we compete, it's for a good reason, because we want to see the best of each other. So really, like Coach Hart said, he's going to put the best player out there on the field. So really, that's we were all trying to be out there playing. So really, it comes down to who really wants some more, and just just the love of the game. So really, competing wise, that's something that we're going to do every day, every time we touch the field. But we still going to love each other and display that LEO, because we're still family at the end of the day.
Tom Brew.
Hey, Stevie, we, last year was such a fun year for everyone, and we didn't really get a chance to talk to you much there when you were hurt. Can you talk, kind of turn back the clock a little bit and tell me how frustrating that was to not be a part of the last couple of games last year, at least on the field?
Yeah, man. Oh, man, those was, very hard time. Those was some hard times, having love for the game and not being able to play with the team, especially, having a good season that we did and going to a bowl game, my first bowl game actually, and not being able to play. It was very tough, but, just motivate my team and just tell them, keep them with positive mindsets was my biggest thing there. So, it was very frustrating at first, knowing that there's a possibility that I won't be able to play in a bowl game. But, seeing my teammates play and have fun out there, that's the only thing that can really, cheer me up and just, keep my head positive. But I'm still looking forward to going into this next season, same positive mindset and same mindset, just to keep dominating and get better every day, and hopefully try to, improve off of last season. And, hey.
Kevin Brockway.
Hey, Stevie. You showed us some more strides as a pass catcher out of the backfield last year and so forth. Your versatility, just how much you're going to try to continue to maybe grow and develop that area of your game as you enter your junior season.
As I keep getting older, I just like to improve myself as a player, of being as an overall player that can catch, run the ball, and do whatever for the team. So that's been something me and Coach Hart been talking about a lot this offseason, is just being the type of player that could be, that's the word I'm looking for. Not overall player, but like a player that has all the attributes, I should say. So being able to be a type of running back like that, and just showing the NFL coaches and just people around the nation that I could be that type of back, that's just something that's big, and that Coach Hart's been putting emphasize on in the running back room for all of us.
Go ahead, Rick.
Okay. Steve, you guys won 8 last year. I know your goals are to do even better and to beat some of those teams in the Big Ten that are at the top of your division. What do the running backs have to do to contribute to that?
Really, we have to run the ball. When it comes to football, I feel like, you can't really win the game without running the ball. Even though if you're a passing team, you still have to have a run game going on just to keep the game balanced. If a team know you're going to pass the whole game, then, that's kind of easy to work with. But if you're a type of team that you don't know what they got going on, if they could run and pass, then that makes the game a lot harder. So really going into those big games, keeping the chains moving, and not having any turnovers. We have to win the turnover ratio, not have any turnovers like that, or not any, and just really play our type of game and play hard. Because we know we can compete with any team. We all have that mindset going into every game. It's a possibility we could win. It's a possibility we could lose, but we go into the game thinking that we're going to win all the time. So really, it's just us clicking on all cylinders and just being locked in at all times. Not giving any excuses, just going there and playing our hearts out and really just trying to look for that W.
All right, Stefan.
Stevie talked a lot about you in the pass game. I mean, what kind of things have you been talking about with Coach Hart and Coach Sheridan, maybe to kind of see where you can fit in exactly? And what did you see last year that maybe you could improve on?
Definitely, just keep working on bettering my hands because, you can't stop with that. You got to always try to improve something. But really, something just to try to improve on this year is just, my footwork and just, just picking my feet up still and just, just having my 40-degree shoulder lean going through the hole and just finish being and just continue just being a dominant player and just, real physical, running through guys' faces and things like that, just keeping the chains moving and, just continue being a productive player I am.
All right, Stevie, one more from Matt Weaver. He has a question about Jordan Howard.
Hey, Stevie, I saw you did a Zoom last night, and Jordan Howard was a part of it. Just talk about getting to talk to him. Obviously, a guy who's been in your shoes, had success, and now is at a place where you want to be. Just kind of what did you take from that discussion, and what kind of things did you learn from talking to him?
Yeah, I definitely need that talk coming from Jay. How I love the talk we had. It's just really him just dropping jewels on me and just letting me know how the league is, before I get there, and just giving me the heads up on, certain areas, certain things that I need to stay cautious about. So really, it's definitely a well-needed talk, and Jay Howard definitely, he was speaking real things to, me and the running back group, but to me and the other players we had in there about, just life in general and just how to keep a mindset of your own and just stay positive and just, keep trying to strive to be a better you. So really, I feel like Jay Howell, he came in. He knew what he was talking about. I was listening with all ears, and I'm really appreciative that he came and did that for us.
All right. Well, thank you, Stevie. Appreciate you did this for us, and happy birthday to you. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank all you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Got it. See you guys later.